This video is going to show you how to set up the Godox F200bi light, specifically on a light stand on your desk. So there's a surprising amount of things in the bag itself, which is nice. So we have it, but we don't need everything. So the things we do need is we need the light itself here, and then we need the light box, which is all folded up here, the diffusion. Here we have the main power box and the main power cable. There's another cable in there, but we don't need that. We have the frame here for the back of the light, and then this joint here, which is going to connect it to our light stand. And then over here, I have the light stand already set up on my desk. On your desk, you're going to clamp it to the back facing you, but my desk here doesn't really allow me to do that because of the shelf. So for this video, I'm going to be doing it on the front. And real quick, before we jump into the light itself, this stand is going to come with this pivot ball head on it. We're not going to use that. We want to take that off. So you're just going to unscrew it. And we're going to replace it with this head here. This is going to let us put the light on, and we're just going to screw this on instead. Step one is going to be to assemble the main part of the light. So we're going to need the light itself, we're going to need the frame, and the joint. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to flip, and I would recommend doing this on the floor. It's just easier. You can do it on a table too, but floor is easy. You're going to take the light, put it face down on the floor, and then you're going to take your frame, and this frame just opens up like so. And this is how it's going to sit on the light. It's not going to go down like this. It's going to go with the pin facing up, and we're just going to hook this in to the holes here so that it's flush like that. And you're going to do that on each one of the corners like that. But there we go. Now the frame's on it. We have the pin right here. We're going to take the joint, and you're going to need to make sure that these safety screws are unscrewed enough for the pin to fit. But once they are, it'll slide on like that, and you just want to tighten down that screw, and now we're good to go there. And once we have the light set up and our light stand clamped onto our desk, we're just going to attach the light to the light stand. Now, one quick thing is you want to make sure that the joint is facing down, and you know the way is down on the light, because that's where the cord is. We want the cord to be on the bottom. So we want this to be facing down like that. Once it is, it's just gonna slide right on to that stand pin. Tighten it down, and there it is. Now, one thing that I found helpful too is if you take this cord so it's not dangling just down, and you kind of hook it up over one of those knobs, that's just going to help your cable management. This next step is going to be attaching the light box. Now, I realized too that this actually takes up a decent amount of space, and this light box is just going to make it all a little bit more bulky. Now, ideally, we are going to have it set up on here, but if you don't have enough space in your area, we don't need to do it, but it is going to help the quality of light. Now, you'll notice on the light box itself that it has a lip with Velcro on it. That lip does bend. It doesn't look like it does, but once you start playing around with it, you realize, yes, it does. This lip is going to bend around the back of the light and attach to the Velcro back here. And you can attach this really at any point, but I found it easiest to do it once you have the light already on the stand. So you're just gonna line it up, and then start with the top, stick that Velcro, and then just go all the way around. And you might have to finagle it a little bit. It's kind of like a fitted sheet that sucks, but it does fit on. And it's actually pretty decent once you do get it there. Next step is going to be to put on the diffusion, which is going to it's going to stick to this inner Velcro on the light box itself. This is super easy to do. You're just going to take the diffusion, hold it at the corners, stick it in the corners. Now, for some reason, I thought it was a perfect square. I guess this isn't a perfect square because it just doesn't stretch to all the corners if you don't do it right. So make sure you have the long side to the long side, grab the corners, stick it to the inside, attach it there, grab the bottom corners, stick those to the bottom. We want the Velcro to seal around it as much as we can, but if it's not perfect, that's okay. Now, the cool thing about this light, I think, is that it has the main juice, the main power box, separate from the light itself, which helps this stay as low profile as possible by running all the main power through this. Now this is probably going to get warm, especially if you have it plugged in for a while. So just make sure that it's in a place, even if it's under your desk or behind or to the side, just make sure it's in a place where there's not like flammable stuff sitting on it, and make sure it can breathe. So this is the main plug here that the light is going to plug into. So we have our light cable here, and we're just going to plug that in like that. And then we're going to flip the box around. This yellow plug is going to go with the yellow power cable. And this goes in and rotates. So you kind of like, you see where these grooves are. Those grooves match with those grooves. So you're going to just stick it in and rotate it till it clicks. There we go. Stand it back upright again. And then when we plug it into the wall, we'll see that the screen lights up like that. And you can turn it on or off with the power button here. So if we click that, actually we have to hold it here. There we go, the whole thing turns off. But when we press it again and everything turns on. So mine is currently set to 0% brightness. That's on the left, and then on the right there, that's our color temperature. If that's at 5600, we don't have to touch it. And you can see that the brightness is already selected. So to adjust the brightness, we just roll this dial. And this is going to be pretty low, like 15, 20%, maybe even lower, depending on how close we have the light to you. But you can see, bam, the light is on. All right, now that we have the light set up, we want to make sure it's in the right position. First things first, we want to make sure it's off at about 25 to 45 degree angles off center. So if we're facing center, one way or the other, it should be off to the side. It's just going to cast some more pleasing light that way. Next, we want to make sure that the center of the light is up above eye level, and we also want to make sure that it's tilted down facing us. Now you can sit as close to the light as you need to, especially in our situation where it's going to be kind of a tighter space just sitting at your desk. So you can be sitting like up on your computer, but as long as the light itself isn't cutting into the camera angle, we're going to be totally fine. Now, if you notice that the light is reflecting, if you're wearing glasses, if you notice that when you're looking into your camera, that the light is reflecting off of your glasses, that generally just means that you need to raise the light higher up. All right, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, let me know. I hope this was helpful.